All right, so here we have a new wall in the front, as you can see. And then in the back, if I can zoom in, there's the old wall. And you can see the arches, the stripes. And it's really hard to make out here, but it's sunken in the back beneath street level. Um, so here at street level, the church goes down. More doors, more windows. And the front of the church has the windows again. You can see arches up there. And you can see the bricks, the way they're laid out. It's now the Trinity Lutheran Church building. And again, below street level, it keeps going down. Maybe 2 floors, looks like. Hard to see down there. This is 1 floor down, and then there's another floor down. With a window, looks like either a window or a doorway, hard to see, under the stairwell. There you go. And that looks like I think that's a doorway under there. Really hard to make out. That's better. Kind of see. The door is just kind of, yeah, down. Can't really see. Let's see. There you go. I can get in here and not drop my phone. Look at that. Here's another. Looks like a window or doors down there. So the sunken windows here beneath street level, as you can see. And then in the back of the church, the fake brick face wall in the front, the new brick face, and then as you go back, the real original church wall. Now we're gonna step back and try to get the church from across the street and get a nice view. The sun is kind of blocking the way here. Right across the street from the 24th Street precinct. I mean the 24th precinct, 151 West 100th Street is the precinct address. Address of the church. Better to see. You can see the police cars are all lined up. So there are the 2 different walls, the new brick face in the front and the old wall in the back. And as you go up, big windows, big window in the middle, all boarded up. We go up to the top, and that's what caught my attention is the roof, which some have been saying relates to the original Tartarian free energy technology, which it looks to me, I mean, there's so much other research. I did a lot of Tesla research, and it seems to me that Tesla technology is really bastardized Tartarian technology. So I really wanted to catch this church, and now I'm going to take a walk over to Central Park from here, which is not far, and walk through Central Park a little bit. And then when we get to the east side, we're over on the west side now. When we get to the east side, there's a few other spots that are nice. So I might take a break and come back after, or I might keep the camera running depending on how long I deliver this little discourse on Nikola Tesla, fact, fiction, common misunderstandings. I want to start with Michael Faraday and James Clerk Maxwell, because the misconception about Maxwell is the ether. People say the ether was disproven. with Michelson-Morley experiment in 1887, and that is false. Maxwell's ether from the 1860s was disproven by Michelson-Morley, not the concept of the ether. Maxwell's concept of the ether was disproven. So, again, James Clerk Maxwell was a mathematician, not an experimenter. Most of his math is derived from the discoveries of Michael Faraday, who had a dynamical concept of the medium, as did Nikola Tesla. Tesla also was, like Faraday, not highly renowned as a mathematician, but as an experimenter. So Faraday used the concept of microhelical tubules of force, tubes of force. Microhelical, tiny little helices. And the helix spiral, double helix from DNA, typically in the caduceus. So one helix is just one elongated spiral, not spiraling in on itself, but spiraling forward in direction, kind of like a telephone cord. So after Maxwell's equations were disproven, not the ether, Lord Kelvin put forward new equations for a dynamic ether in the 1890s. Again, largely based on Tesla's work. So from Maxwell, we start with Faraday to get to Maxwell and go to Michelson-Morley and stop there. From Kelvin, we start with Tesla after that and go forward to, I would say, Hermann Frick, if I'm not mistaken, and we stop there. So a really good source on the controversy about the ether, if it's stationary or dynamic, is William Line. I highly recommend his 3 books: Space Aliens from the Pentagon, formerly Pentagon, or it's actually Pentagon Aliens, formerly Space Aliens from the Pentagon. I think it's in its 3rd edition. Occult Ether Physics, which is now in the 4th or 5th edition. And Occult Science Dictatorship, which is, I don't know if that's in a 2nd edition or not. But those 3 books pretty much are autobiographical of Line's life and research as an electrical experimenter and Tesla researcher and military brat, growing up around Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and being an observer of UFOs and an insider on the military, hearing inside accounts from relatives and other people in the military from the 1940s and onward, and even before then, who were inside the man-made UFO projects of the US government. So here we are, Central Park West. We're going to go through Central Park. So I haven't seen a lot of the allegedly pre-Mudflood architecture here on the west side. I haven't spent as much time around it, but I found a ton of it on the Upper East Side in this neighborhood, just across the park, which is really only from Central Park West, which is 8th Avenue, over to 5th Avenue. So it's 3 long blocks, which is like 9 short blocks. It's a little under half a mile, so it shouldn't take me more than 10 or 15 minutes to walk at most. It's kind of cold and windy out today, so if I keep up a brisk pace and navigate well enough, I might get over to the other, get across the park in less than 10 minutes. To Tesla tech being bastardized Tartarian free energy tech, it is largely known that Tesla did business with some real crooks. Thomas Edison, is it George Westinghouse? I got to go and look this stuff back up. I did most of this research years ago, and I don't have my reference materials with me. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff I have in storage right now. But the Mudflood topic really caught my attention recently, and so it rang a lot of bells. Another notorious criminal that Tesla did business with was J.P. Morgan. And, you know, in my eye, at first glance, the first by crooks. You know, they teach us when we're children, don't play with cheaters. Take your marbles and go home. So while on the one hand, guilt by association in Tesla's case wouldn't seem to hold up, other lies of Tesla's career have come to my attention. And I'm going to stray for that topic and come back to it and just go back to Kelvin. I said it stopped with Hermann Frick. As far as Maxwell and Kelvin, Tesla and Faraday, you can get a lot from William Line, I mentioned. And then if you want to know more about Hermann Frick, a good source in English is Carl Friedrich Kraft. And he's the originator of the modern 20th century ether vortex model, which I've confirmed with electricians, electrical engineers, and chemists, is currently in use. So when you're doing advanced professional work, they're not using the Bohr model, they're not using the Schrodinger model. These are the models that were taught in school and the models they put on TV associated with CERN Lab and the Elegant Universe. They're not using any of that. What the professionals use is the vortex model. And it's kind of unspoken that it's the ether, because the big propaganda lie is that the ether was disproven. It was not. Again, William Line really drives this home and hammers it in place if you read his books. In the exposed ether was, the concept of a stationary ether was disproven. The ether is dynamic, and that's the concept many people have worked with. Kelvin and Frick, actually, his ether is similar to Kelvin's, only has the added quality of mechanical viscidity, which is stickiness. So the concept of vortex, a unit of matter and energy as a vortex, precedes Kraft, and Kelvin had tried it unsuccessfully. It goes back at least to Ampere, and a source for that is Charles W. Lucas Jr. He's got a textbook, The Universal Force. So it's a secondary source, but it's pretty well researched. And it brings us right back to what I was to say about Tesla was his big lie was about relativity. Tesla looks like controlled opposition. The truth about relativity is that relativity is Galilean, classical invariance, classical relativity. And there's a lot of misuse of this concept after Project Paperclip, after Einstein's concepts, really not his concepts, the concepts that he promoted. After that became popular, you hear very little about classical relativity or classical invariance. They won't even use that expression. They'll talk about frames of reference, but they won't actually say classical relativity. So Tesla's lie was that relativity is false. And, you know, he was kicked out of college, but he's also working with criminals. He looks very suspect. I think it's safe to say that he knew the difference between special relativity, general relativity, and classical relativity. And, you know, he got away with it. Tesla researchers have not made that connection. If you want information on Galilean relativity, classical relativity, in the context of a modern 20th century ether, I would recommend you go to the Italian source, Marco Todeschini, also the underground writer who used the pen name Rho Sigma, RHOSIGMA, which are really the Greek letters for R and S. Some people have speculated that it signified the initials RS. In mathematics, sigma is a summation, and I forget what rho is. When you put them together, you get a convolution. So that was my speculation, that rho sigma stands for convolution. And he does give some attention to Galileo's relativity, Marco Todeschini, and the book is Ether Technology, 1977, in the underground, and was brought back in print by Adventures Unlimited, the company many people know from David Hatcher Childers' research. So that's where Tesla is most suspect. Why I've called him control opposition. Why I've said that, you know, he was in the scam, and, you know, deal with crooks and get dealt by crooks from university. There's no surprise, really, if you know a lot of people start off innocent and naive, and they're perverted after the fact as they grow up. They're corrupted, and it would come as no surprise to me that was the case with Tesla. They were all born innocent children, and some people turn bad. My view is that a lot of it goes to post-traumatic stress. And there's a lot of room there for discussion and consideration. But here we are nearing the east side. And again, Fifth Avenue, Manhattan is the demarcation between east and west. So that building right there looks kind of Tartarian. You see the big columns. Let's see if we can zoom in. Pretty nice. The columns are hidden behind the trees. I'll get up here on top of this hill real quick. See how well an image I can get. So you see the over the windows, and the columns are back there. They're kind of hidden. It's a museum. The steps are leading up. I'm not going to go that way. I'm over here on, I think on 102nd Street, if I'm not mistaken. It was just up that hill. Some really interesting buildings here on Fifth Avenue. This is where they used to call it Millionaires Row. Now they're calling it Billionaires Row. You can see the big blocks, fancy windows. And so yeah, enough about Tesla right now. That tower that I started with, talking about Tesla, many people have compared those towers to Tesla towers, and you notice the all the bumps on it are added surface area. If you know a little about electrophysics, each one is a contact point to discharge energy. So I'm just waiting for traffic now so I can cross the street. But already in that building back there, you can see it's level to itself. A lot of the buildings here, like this door, is right at street level, and quite often there'll be steps going down, which is the trend in this Mudflood art, pre-Mudflood. So there's one with the steps, and then now it's at street level. And my wager would be that if you open that door, the steps lead down, typically. So it's one of these big buildings. I think this one's residential. You can see the artwork there and the architecture. Here's another one. And we are right at 102nd Street, 5th Ave. So when I get down into the 90s, I'm gonna hop down and walk around in between Madison Avenue, because there's a lot of stuff there. A lot of the stuff I've read, people are looking at building plans and not doing the actual ground field work. As we go up the hill, the building sinks deeper and deeper into the ground here. Sorry, it's very windy, and I had to turn around to fix my coat and my hood so it didn't blow away. So here we are. The sidewalk's been raised here a little bit. So the buildings, and now we're on. Let's take a look down the side. You can see the wall. Here, let's go take a look at this doorway. Yeah, so they've got doors down there. This is got a red light, that's why. Drivers here. And this level here, flush. And it looks like these parts of the building should be a little bit higher up. Look or something. So this is a lot of them owned by museums now. The reports I've read are that so many of the buildings have been. It really looks like this should be up higher. And it's 1, 2, they're right next to each other. My signal keeps cutting out here. I don't know why. There's that famous globe statue. Nathan Cummings Plaza. So here's some really interesting architecture. The Mount Sinai Hospital looks like it has the new bricks. Maybe not. Some of it's in the old style, but this really has the big blocks. And this more of Mount Sinai, Kravis Children's Hospital. So yeah, again, a lot of these buildings that look like they're pre-Mudflood are institutional. This one's a hospital. A lot of them are museums. And as you can see right here, I'm just walking by, paying attention. There are the windows that have been boarded up, and it goes down easily 2 floors. Look at that. There's no stairs or anything to get down there. So there's 1 flight of windows, and then another set of windows that are completely blocked up with cinder blocks. I don't know how well you can focus on that. They're painted white, which is really interesting. But that is this building right here, which again is an institution, not a residence. And it's part of Mount Sinai Hospital, not one of the museums. So again, there's the old face, the old brick face in the back, and then the new brick face, which comes out further. Pretty interesting architecture. in the old part, and then the new is all this bland concrete, kind of Soviet style looking blocky architecture with really no inspiration and no aesthetic sensibility. And so then coming up next to it is another one of these old buildings. The little alleyway there. So this is all new now, and you can see the difference. In the new is all just kind of square, rectangular, and fake looking metal and concrete. 170 Fifth Avenue. We're coming on 98th Street. So right there you can see windows, stairs going down, and windows. I'm out of focus. There we go. Now I'm back in focus. So right here at 1170 Fifth Avenue. And it's no surprise really. So there are the grates, and what I've found when I come up to grates like that, if you can look down that grate, there are more windows. Now I'm looking down the grate from here, you can see bricks down there, much older bricks. So the windows are painted wood and they're cracked, but look up here, you can see the ornate decoration, double fish, and it looks like a honeybee, double fish, some type of coat of arms. So they repeat that much. And then as you go up, there's more ornament in the building. So this again, corner of 98th Street, Fifth Avenue, and right next to Mount Sinai. So you can keep walking down here and see more. That was 1170. This one coming up across the street is 1165. But let's take a walk down here and just look again. See if we can get closer to the grate here. Sure enough, bricks and windows. See that window down there? So there's the grate. There's the window. Look at that. Old bricks, old windows down there. And that is the trend. So a commonly held belief is that the windows are just there. The windows are just there for ventilation. There's a little trap entrance that's very common in New York to get to a cellar. So here the stairway's raised, but it's raised outside the original thick. So that's added on. Two different buildings, and the wall is bricked up with spikes, so you can't see what's back there. These are the new bricks in the front. But these stairs are new to the building. They're not part of the original design of the building. And it's more of Mount Sinai, Icahn School of Medicine. So here you can see there's more of the building sunken beneath street level. Windows. How many floors are there? Oh, see? It goes down 2 floors now. So it's hard to see the second flight down, but it's there. And try to get a better view. So there are more windows down there. And all of that is below street level here. So I'll just walk down 98 a little bit. This is all the same building. See how good a shot I can get here. Oh, there's a net so you don't drop anything. So there's the second window. This is the first window below street level. There's street level with the windows up here. First level below, and then another level below street level right there. And yeah, so this building ends here. You can see the fancy windows again. Balconies. Balcony up there. Really nice architectural work in a style nobody really uses. And then here's the next building, which is bricked up. Looks like another service entrance, but it's basically walled off, so you can't get through. And as you can see, the entrances go down. Here's one. Entrance goes right down, and there's 2 flights of stairs going down there. It looks like. least one. There's one flight of stairs, and then ladder going up. And then as we keep going, these windows are awful low to ground level. And look down the grate. There's another window down there. See from here. So there you go. Now you can kind of see from that angle. And then the entrance, sunken entrance, right at street level, going down. Here we are, old brickwork. Another sunken window. It's really hard to make out in the camera, but the eye can see it. If you come here, you can see there's a window in there. So, maybe it's easier from the angle. Anyway, that's what I'm finding, just following the research of all this other mud flood. Now the best, here I'll come back to it. Let's look at this one. Here's more, going down. Metal stairs going down, blocking the window. There's the window. The stairs are blocking the window in front. There's the door. That's the entrance, and this is the front entrance with the new stairs put in front. The alleyway is sunken and goes down and has stairs coming up. So you can see again right here that this is new. This is cut. This is original. The original building in red brick, and that's a big red brick, by the way, if you notice, compared to the other red bricks. And then all this stone is cut. It's cut right here. This is original. This is new. So these are the new stairs. And it looks like down changed. It's been falsified. So as I was saying, a lot of the best research I'm getting on pre-mud flood Tartarian technology is coming from the Slavic sources, not from the flat Earth. Flat to ground, no steps, probably going down. My suspicion. So I tolerate flat Earth videos, and every now and then I'll look at them. Quite often I get really fed up with them. But the mud flood seems to check out. It's not proof for a flat Earth in any way, and the flat Earth has been entirely debunked. It's really sad. It's hard to see so many continue to persist with the flat Earth, but I will not allow it to discredit the good information is verifiable on the mud flood. So it looks like renovation going on here. And walked around here a little bit. I don't know this stretch of pavement that well, but here's a nice little find I wouldn't have been looking for. Here are the stairs going down and the windows below street level. Red brick stairs. Here's the alleyway going back. As you can see, the alley is sunken well, at least one story, one building story below street level. And a lot of these buildings look like they're in the old style, not in the new style. You can see the arches over the windows. So things to look out for at Mount Sinai offices. So it's still institutional, not residential. This is Goldfarb Properties. Look at that. It's a really nice entrance there. You can't see it because of the awning. The awning blocks the view. But that could very well have been the second story. Turned into the first story. So let's see what this says. Designed and constructed by Fred F. French Company, like 1922. It's all blotted out. It's hard to read now. AD 1922. So there's so much debate now on the chronology. So now we're getting into the 1920s. I know the street here. The street all has plants in front of it. There's a grate. good sunlight. So you can see the architecture here. There's the old ornate style. There are balconies. Look at this church with the domes. See, I never even really looked up on this. I know this street a little bit. Look at that. How do you like those domes with the crosses? And it has the Tartarian cross with the second cross bent on the bottom. Now again, this goes back to the original Tartarian pre-Mudflood free energy technology. And this is kind of a classic example now of what people have been pointing to. Look at the crosses. They have the second bar on the bottom. It's at that angle. It's actually kind of nice to do this in winter because you don't have the leaves of the trees blocking the view. You see the red and yellow checker work here, the bright colors, and I could be wrong. Maybe that's painted wood. I really don't know. There's a sculpture up there, stone sculpture. And it's 15 East 97th Street now. Look at that. So we have these domes. And again, these domes are not associated with Christian churches typically. They're associated with, unless it's Byzantine, they're Oriental style. And it's Russian Orthodox. So that makes sense. That would be the Russian style. And here we go. 1901 says the cathedral built. 1901, 1902. But the Russians didn't build in this style where you have to go downstairs. It's really too bad they keep such garbage down there. But at ground level, and then it got flooded out. So all these stairs are new. The original stones are old. And you can see the entrance goes down, and the new entrance is up. So, it's a little history for you, if you can read the language. You're going to have to freeze it. And there's the cross. And the only thing it's missing is the crescent. The other pictures you'll see have the crescent at the bottom. So it's the cross with the 3 bars. And normally there's a crescent there at the bottom. This one doesn't have it. So again, that floor there looks new. And I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps going down. And sure enough, it keeps going down after that. So this floor is new, and there's another floor beneath that that goes even deeper down. So it's worth it if you're in the neighborhood to keep looking around. And so I went this way. These doors here, right at ground level. The new ground level, not the old one. So this is another, ornate building, the old architecture style. And the entrances are elevated. These have wooden steps to get you up, obviously new additions. And even this looks like a new addition here to get into this one. 2 steps going up. And there's more doors down there. And metal steps here, all added after the fact. This is all new addition to the building. Oh, we're on security camera. So, you would never know it. I'm 42 years old. I grew up in this town, and I really never thought of it. And now so much research has come out that it's just, it's obvious. You see this all over the place. Here you go. Look at how the stairs go down. 1 flight. That's a long flight going down. Here's a grate. There's a window. That one actually looks natural, like it's just for ventilation. Look at these windows. Again, at below ground level. Basically, the floor is sunken there. So those windows are, you know, somebody's back there. And so here you are. Here's the entrance. It's sunken. And instead of moving the entrance up, which they could have done, move the entrance up to there, they moved it right down. These stairs are new, it looks like, compared to that. And what it's been looking like is, even there, trying not to look in people's apartments, it looks like it's still, the second floor is below that level. And there was a first floor beneath. There's a grate right there. Now, who's to say there are no more windows down there? I see the bricks. So you can't see from here, but I can see from here. There are bricks right under there. Let's see if I can get a better view of the bricks. Now you can see there are bricks, and it looks like the top of windows. So again, this first floor, which is sunken, is actually the second floor. So that's a piece of wood. There are the windows. Just as I go along, see all the windows right here. Entrance going down with stairs. And then here's another receded entrance. So that's one of these nice big, looks like pre-Mudflood architecture. So this is all right on 97th Street, and we could keep doing this. Any one of these streets right here, and on Madison Avenue too. Now, going back up to Fifth Avenue for now, because I want to look at a few more of the buildings on Fifth Avenue, but once we get to like 94th Street, I'm just going to do Madison Avenue, because it's enough. People already know about Millionaires Row on Fifth Avenue, but that's why I started this a few days ago, doing Midtown in the 50s. There's a window. It's all dirty down there, dusty. Sure enough, great hole in the ground and a window under it. So that was just 97th Street. That was there's another right on the side of the building under the window. Probably a window under it. No reason to suspect that window underneath it. Here's the door, right on ground level. And there's Central Park again, beautiful park. All landscape architecture, none of it natural formation. So you can see the window right at ground level, and then the grate underneath it again, repeatedly. And then here's the alley behind it. It goes right down. There they are. There are the windows, right there behind the grates. Look at that, right in this alley. So this is exactly all the Mudflood research is looking to. I'm doing this live because it's easier. I don't have any viewers. I don't have anybody chatting. But it's worth it because I'm not going to come back and edit this later. I'm just going to do this live. People watch at leisure. That's a rat trap. So here we are on 96th Street. This is a big double avenue, a double lane street. Buses cross through the park here. See if there's traffic. Made it. And walk down to 96, but you can kind of see the same thing, architecture. And we're going to keep heading down. Running out of time. Still have plenty of battery, but I have to go this afternoon soon. So looks like a grate there under the window. Here's some scaffolding and renovations going on. And we'll see. I think they're just cleaning the bricks, you know, cleaning the stone. You can see the columns. ornament. It all fits the profile. Now we're on 95th Street, and we're going to go one more block, and then we'll switch over to Madison Avenue. But here are the windows, and it looks like the top of a much bigger window. From the outside, there's this new stone there. There we go. It's a new piece of stone. And the original window is behind. The original window is behind the grating and goes down much further. It's not that little window originally. It's a much bigger window that has been blocked off. All right, and there's a bunch. Looks like another window down there. Good to see. My signal keeps cutting now. Another one. Here, look at this entrance down here. All new. This is all new. It's just steel. Stairs are made of steel. And then there's old brick down there. So it's basically exactly what they've been pointing at. Here's the windows behind the grate. And they're only going down one floor. I would not be surprised if there's another floor underneath. So we don't know what all these buildings are. These ones look more residential. And you can see they have the same thing. You know, like we have the brownstones. And I lived in a basement apartment of a brownstone in Brooklyn as a rental for a while. So this is a church. These are really nice to look at. Because like that Russian Orthodox church, if we come from across the street, you get a really good view. And that's that building. And this one right next to it. And again, that is a giant doorway there, giant windows. And it's very spacious, you know, it lets in a lot of light. The balcony, really tight, just window grates. And I wanted to look at this real quick down here. These columns. So you can see the same thing down here. Stairs going down. The stairs are new. The wall is original. And likewise. So yeah, these columns over here. There's actually columns on a few of the buildings. There are columns here. Columns there. Columns. Get a better look at the columns there, and then if you go down, it's hard to see. See if I can look in the crack. There you are. It's kind of hard to see, but it's deceiving. And you know, people are just storing garbage in there now. That's what it looks like. Okay, so we're on 95th, and maybe I'll come back up and circle the block. But yeah, I wanted to get a quick one on these columns here. Because this is the style in this neighborhood. This church we're going to come back and look at too in a second. But as you can see here, that is a new entrance in between the buildings. It's not the original. And that building has a really funny shape. How it juts out there and goes flat to the alley. So it's hard to say what's new. There's the windows on the ground. And here you go, the entrance going down. Down new steps in between old walls. Look at the style of the bars on the window. Now that's easily 20th century, but the stonework. The stonework was done. There's the Green Man. How about that Green Man? Don't forget about the green man. There's all kinds of typical symbolism here. So it's the same thing. Old bricks and new stone. Old bricks, new stairs. All these stairs were built on after the building was originally put up. Columns. Columns on the doorway here. Columns on the doorway there. Windows coming out. Sorry. And the same thing. Underground windows. There's a ton of this stuff right here. Service entrance. And right down a flight of stairs. Way down there. So here, this is the church. Like security cameras right there. Like sticking out of it. There's the entrance underground. You got to go downstairs to get in there. And you know, hey, maybe some of this stuff was built new in this same style during the history reset, because just to make it fit in with the rest of the stuff. Hit that again. My signal goes there, and using the stay white level, and then in between all these floors, ground windows up, but that's the second floor. There's more of the windows on the bottom, or probably the third floor. And again, it looks like this part right here is much higher than the building, and then these walls are on top. So it's hard to say how much of this is underground. My suspicion that top is probably newer. You know, just like we've seen the new brick on top of the old brick. They have this level underground. Then they have the next level above ground. And then what was built on top for smaller size. These windows here are bigger than the windows up there. And you know, they find in archaeology, they find buried cities built on top of each other. So they keep digging, and then there's a whole other city buried underneath the one before. It's exactly what this whole Mudflood scenario looks like to me. So here's the stairs going down. Right down. And who's to say there isn't another city buried under this one? You know? Because we're only seeing 2 floors. Here's the grate. Here's the window. Doesn't take long. Once you know what to look for, and you know where to look, and you get there, it's easy to find this stuff over and over again. So here we come on 94th Street, and this is where I'm going to go down and start walking down Madison Avenue. Do some of these. Can you see that sign? No, it's just a silhouette. Now we'll try. There it is, East 94th Street. So there are more museums coming up, but here you can see same building, 1130, and there's the window with the grate. The window keeps going down. The grate stops. Here's another. There's the University Club. And again, who's to say that this is the first floor? You know, I mean, look at that. Why they left it this way, I really can't say. It's bricked up. It's getting progressively smaller. I mean, they could have leveled it. Instead, they let it follow the street level. The stairs going down here. Hi, I'm just doing the architecture in the neighborhood. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Okay. So it's the same thing. sunken entrances, and again the stairs are new. The brick is old. The walls are old and the stairs are new. Looking again. Same thing. New stairs. New stairs, old walls. Old walls, new stairs. Over and over again. Looks like that. Right there. Right there. So yeah, this is 94th, and you can actually see columns there. I walked by. Let's see if I can zoom in. Columns. Little balconies. Penthouse, rooftop apartments. More balconies here on top. Balconies all over. Columns. Columns under the balcony, and then more balconies on top of the windows coming out. Balconies there. Balconies. Pretty posh. Balcony up on top of that. So lots of renovation going on. It looks like they're putting this one behind the renovation. You can't really see. Looks like new bricks. New bricks on top of the old bricks, like we saw in the first church. So here's more of the sunken entrances, and they make the main entrance to look like it's upstairs, but it's likely, with the columns again, that it's that was a window. It was a giant window that got turned into a door. See that? So there, columns with windows, columns with a door, same level. Different house. But again, highly likely that the first floor is another flight down. A lot of these buildings have, they call it a sub-basement. So this is the, right here, Ramakrishna Vivekananda Center. So we have, again, institutions, hospitals, museums, places of worship. And that's not so much residential. There, people live here, but it's very expensive. Here we go, new stairs. And that was the tradition. Anytime a new empire conquered, is they would take the old place of worship and put their church there. So what was it? A temple of Saturn would become a temple of Zeus. I mean, and so on and so forth. So here's some more. Going right down the stairs. Right down. So now this is the main entrance. And you can see columns on the windows. Columns all around the same size. Columns on the windows. Balcony on top there, only no guard. You know, on some of the buildings now it's a balcony. Other ones it's just like a little rooftop sticking out. A parapet, I think they call it. But some of these big windows, apparently, I mean, they're big enough, these windows are big enough to be doors. So just like the one back there was turned into a door. And here again are the windows that get increasingly smaller. Smaller and smaller. And then larger. So these are all done level at one point, and sure enough, here are the crates coming up. So going up, going down, and here you go. Here are the sunken windows. Again, all the windows underground, and as the hill goes down, the windows come closer and closer to street level. So in the back here, look at how far down that goes. And I think this is where I was the other day. I was going to start doing it before. See the old brick and the new face, interestingly. So what starts where, it's hard to say. What's new and what's old. I was right here last week checking out this building to see if I should do a live video, and just serendipity, I met someone who he's a science writer, again, on he didn't use the word fraud, but that's basically what it is, scientific fraud. He writes on the lies in oncology and AIDS research. And so I almost did this live video last week. You can see the windows bricked up. And I want to get back there. You can't really see. But look at these stairs. The stairs are just sunken here into the ground. So these look like original stairs here for a change. See how the stair goes under the brick? The brick is on top of the stairs, not behind it. And you see the window. But so the stairs go up and then they go way down again. And I have not really checked this place out. I'll probably come back to this one. Again, you have the fancy balconies, and they're almost, you know what they remind me of? This style. See these narrow windows? These are made for archers, because it's very hard to shoot a bow and arrow into, it's hard to shoot an arrow into that hole. But if you were going to shoot an arrow out of that hole, it'd be much easier, because the way it's designed is it's narrow on the outside and wide open on the inside. The only thing is, windows like that are typically placed way up high, not down at ground level. It'd be like way up high, and sure enough, there they are. So this looks like it was a fort. It's now being used as a church. But here, we'll just come around and look real quick. And sure, the court down there is sunken deep beneath the level. We've got to go up the stairs and then way back down. So I don't know if this is, doesn't really look star-shaped, but again, new bricks. On this side, looks like it has all new bricks. So what was there before? It's hard to say. Talk about stripes, they're really not stripes, it's just like an upside down cone pyramid. And so, you know, the door here, maybe no window, but it's blocked off. Anyway, so that's on 94th between Madison and Park. I want to stay on Madison Avenue today. And over on the west side of the street, got traffic coming. Looks like I can cross. This place on 93rd Street I really wanted to do. Now I'll just come back to 94 real quick and show on this side of the street that it's same thing. Look at that. Right down, sunken windows. So it's not just Millionaires Row on 5th Avenue. It's a lot of Upper Manhattan is this way.
Where'd you get that from? And he said whatever person.
Sunken windows. You can't really see. The sun being too bright kind of creates very stark shadows. So again, that's the fort-looking architecture, and I'll spend some more time on that one. Maybe research that, look it up a little bit, find out some history on it. Some interesting buildings there. You can see the top of that building, kind of cute. But this is the one I really wanted to do here on the corner of 93rd Street. Let me just go back, get these alleyways. Because again, the alley goes right down. You know, and in Brooklyn there were sunken basement windows and stuff, but the alleys were ground level. So this alley, see that old brick down there? Right there. There's a really old brickwork. So So this building coming up on the corner of 93rd, really something actually. Look, the large bricks, and then the windows right at ground level, hidden. Entrance right at ground level, no stairs going up. And again, the windows sunk in here. And see, the whole place is down. Just like that. Nice little entrance. For all we know, could have been a window. What I like about this building is that it's covered in vines. And that's what made it so interesting, is that whoever owns this place, maintains it, really keeps a nice truck on it. So yeah, 93rd Street, there's another one. Old vines all over the building there. Can't really see from here. But how long those have been there, don't know. So these are all the same. Sunken entrances, sunken windows on this side. And then we're gonna go over and look at, there's more vines growing. I mean, it's and I think that it's just I did an Avenue 2. So here they are. Here's the vine. Look at that going right up. Starts there. Covers the whole front of this building. Vines all over it. And again, it's old. It's very ornate. And these stairs almost look like they're original. But original to what? Dunno. Really nice work though. Still with the sunken entrances. So they're probably not the original. Got more of the same brickwork. They just made to look like that. And I guess, Millionaires Row, Billionaires Row, people can afford to make things look genuine. There's some really good restorations. There's some really good counterfeits. And sunken windows beneath other windows. So this is East 93rd Street. And I think we skipped the Jewish Museum. That was what I was going to do. I pointed to that building before. And I'll just zoom in. Show you the new entrance there. But before I sign off, I guess we'll go around and take a look just at this one spot. Because the storefront there is all new, but these two little buildings are older. And there's some more fun stuff down here. I might try a meetup group on Meetup. I think to do meetup.com, I think it's like $90 for 90 days or something, or $90 for 6 months or a year. But there you can see stairs going down, under stairs going down a few flights. So definitely this nice little old building here has some history that has been erased. See, we're already below ground, and there's another sunken window. Old wall, new stairs. These are all new bricks, but that looks like some of the original work. But again, was that a window? That was just converted into a door. You wonder, or maybe a balcony. There's a balcony on top. Not really. It's more like a place to put flowers. And right here, last one for the day. This. Who really built this stuff? This is maybe one of the private schools around here. So that's what we have. That's a new building. They just took the old layout. This is one of the old ones. Hidden entrance on the bottom. Institutions mostly, not many residents. Museums, hospitals, schools, and places of worship. Temples. So yeah, 93rd between Park Avenue and Madison. And it's this is 60 East 93rd Street, it looks like. It's the piece. And look at this. This is Spence. Okay. So I know from working in the neighborhood, I know some of the people that either go to school here or work here. And pretty groovy. So it looks like new steps, new wall now.
I just wanted to.
I can't see. Well, that's all I'm going to do for the day. That was enough. Here's street. Looks like pretty Mudflood architecture. Boarded up window. Boarded up windows below ground level. So a lot of this stuff is harder to see when you're on the avenue. But if you go up the side streets, it's there. Just on the avenue is all storefronts. You would never know if you didn't take a walk on the street. So, okay. That's it for today. And happy Mudflood research. Here's another cute one. East 92nd Street, actually Madison, between East 92nd. See, if you're at ground level, a lot of New Yorkers don't look up. They don't look across the street. They look right in front of them. They look down. It has that fancy balcony up front. And the bottom, the ground level, is all new. The building on the corner next to it has all the new bricks. So you would just never, you would never know. People are not looking. And it's all around here. You know, not too many blocks from here, we had riots. Not many decades, 5 decades ago, and people are more concerned with race relations, the economy. It's really sad, like I think a poll that was taken said 3 out of 4 New Yorkers have never seen footage of the collapse of Building 7, World Trade Center Building 7. They don't even know that a third tower fell. 2 planes hit, 3 buildings fell, 9/11. There's all kinds of lies of history that people don't know. And so as tragic as that is, they'll tell you 3,000 people died that day. They won't tell you that almost 200,000 people got sick with cancer from the dust. Or that, I think over 1,000 or 2 police and firefighter died within 10 or 15 years of 9/11 from that dust. So East 92nd Street, I'm going to end it here. There's Central Park. There's Madison Avenue, and behind that is Park Avenue is the next block over. So just a ton of great stuff. If you're here, if you can get here, you can see a lot. So I had fun. Last hour and 20 minutes. And anybody watches this, thanks for listening to me talk. All right, bye.